So, Lily, I am so excited to be finally connected with you, and also so grateful that we could actually take the time and get together.
Me too.
And we are here in Bannabunk,
Mm.
and it's fabulous, and I'm definitely looking forward to hearing more about that. And just by way of introduction, I mean, the little bit I know about you already, and I'm excited to hear a lot more.
Yep.
And really, this is for you about this concept of edutourism,
Yep.
right? So we've got people coming to Bali to learn about, to come for a holiday, but then also learning about sustainable agriculture, permaculture, healing, health and well-being, just relax and chill out. And you know, I'm really excited to hear more about that from you. And before we jump into that, what I'd love to hear first is just a little bit about you, about your story and how you came to, you know, create this place, and you know, kind of how did all this happen?
All right. So, first of all, let me thanks first for this opportunity to get interviewed by you, Patrick. Such a lovely man. So, let me tell you about myself first.
Yeah, sure.
So, I basically born and brought up back in Jakarta, and then I went to England to take my degree, and then I just realized that you know, working in a corporation, it's make you like feel like battery chicken, you know, 8 times a day,
Battery chicken.
seven and 8 times a week. 6 until 7 times a week, and it doesn't help me to improve my self development. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like that's it. That's my life.
What was your degree in?
I'm into human resource,
Yep.
and I take 2 degrees as well in international business.
Wow.
But I do have a background as well in marine science and technology. So at that
Oh
time,
my
I'm
God.
not sure what
You're
I wanted.
seriously smart, right?
I'm basically not sure what I want, but I've been born in a really, been lucky to have a family. It always encouraged me to take a higher degree and to explore and to travel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So until then, I decided to come back after 8 years and visit my grandma, and she said, "No, why don't you always travel around the world? Have you ever traveled in Indonesia before?" I said, "Yeah, not that far, you know, only like around in Java, in Malang, Yogyakarta, most of touristy places." And she said, "You're wasting your life, then go ahead."
Go and see
You know,
Indonesia.
yeah. And then
17,000 islands.
17,000
Right.
islands, it take you 37 years to actually complete all of
I
it.
don't know if we could do it in a lifetime, right? There's a lot of beaches, a lot of
Yeah,
mountains. And it's such a
exactly.
typical story, right? Because, I mean, I grew up in Australia, and I've seen quite a bit of Australia, but not even close to all of it. But been all around the world, across the USA and Europe and, you know, Asia. And then, you know, we go home and I go, wow, I didn't know that about my own country.
Yes,
right?
yes,
And it's-
exactly.
we want to go and see what's out there, and it's nice to come and see what's right here
yeah,
too.
true. And then along the way, when I do this journey, starting in east of Java and then head to Bali, Lombok, Sumba, Flores, until the east part of Indonesia, I realized one thing. I realized about the farmer and the community.
Okay.
Because what I realize is Indonesia is such a beautiful place, and then many people, especially the local, is not ready. But the government as well, it's getting big mass tourism coming to Indonesia, and we're neglecting some part, which is to preserve the land. Especially these local people didn't get help from the government. You know, they feel neglected. So if I traveling one place to another, they see me, they tend to think I'm an investor, and they say, "Oh, do you want to buy my land?" And I say, "Do you think I be able to buy your land? What's wrong? Why you want to sell your land?"
Yeah.
This is how the story starts.
Wow.
So what I did is I asked the local farmers and say, "What's the problem?" And they said, "Oh, I can't help myself and my family to send my kids back to school, to provide a better food in our table." I said, "What's that?" "Because we don't make enough produce." And I said, "Why?" "Because it's so expensive to buy chemical." I said, "Hang on, what a second. Why you want to buy
Why you want to do that? Yeah.
Because they've been born to know that their parents teach them just in one way, which is you put a chemical in your land to grow it well. Because now these days they realize there's lots of disease
Sure.
that's in the plant, you know, and they keep mutating. They don't realize that it's starting when they give those chemical fertilizer itself. You make them mutate. So I tell them, okay, what about if I give you opportunity, if I invite someone that understand about how to help you to create organic, to grow your own organic food,
Wow.
basically. and to educate you. And I say, okay, fine. But at the time, it's really hard because first is they don't have any enough money
Yeah.
to support themselves. So what I did is I helped them to rent their land.
Mm-hmm.
But I only rented to people that concerned about the ecosystem,
Perfect.
about how to grow their own food. So I just buy contact my friends and get a patch of land and then compare it to them, so I can show them first, if you grow your food in a chemical way
Wow.
and you grow your food in non-chemical way, right?
Yep.
Even though there's some little bit of pollutant that is still around, but
Sure.
at least we eliminate those things, the X factor. When it's happening, so they see we create 3-time production
Really?
rather than the normal one, because you use chemical, obviously it's not healthy.
Sure.
It's healthy, it's looks strong and and big and so, but when you open it, the corn probably it's not as good as the one that's
Wow.
naturally.
You can really notice such a difference.
Yes, and it's can hold so very long time. Like when we harvest a paddy rice,
Yeah.
a normal with a chemical way paddy rice, probably if you put it in a container within 1 or 2 years, you can see a white like a flour coming in from it. It's just
Okay.
decreasing. But with the one that organic one, it can contain in a jar. So far, when we keep it until now, it's still clean.
Wow.
So it's probably eliminate those chemicals is creating a weak structure inside of the rice grain,
Wow.
and then when you eat it, it will accumulate in your body. It creates those kind of disease this day, create cancer and increasing tumor in your body.
Oh
It's
my
not
God.
unhealthy
So-
food.
Let me get this. Let me see if I'm following this, because this is
Yeah,
an
it's a
extraordinary
long
story.
way,
And this is
yeah.
amazing. So, you've been around the world, been to UK, got a degree, done some things, and Grandma says, "What about your country? What about Indonesia? Go and
Yeah.
check it out."
Yeah.
So you're traveling, having a good time, meeting people, connecting with the locals, and they're saying, "Are you an investor? Do you want to buy my farm?"
Mm.
And you're saying, "Why do you want to sell it?" And really, we're getting to the real problem, which is, after years of chemical farming,
Yes.
trying to follow in the mass agriculture kind of monocrop kind of way of doing it, they're finding that the yield is decreasing, the quality of the soil is gone,
Gone. The
and
nutrition as well is gone.
and they're going, well, I'm just pouring on more and more chemicals to try and keep it happening,
Yeah.
and we can't afford more and more chemicals, so
Yeah,
then the
it's
kids aren't
expensive.
going to school, and
Yeah.
the quality of life is suffering.
Yeah.
So you're going, what if we could just put all those chemicals away, which
Yeah.
is, it's killing you, it's killing the economy, it's killing the food, it's killing the soil, it's bad news, right? And we could get back to, probably what their parents and their parents were
Yes.
doing for farming, which is
Yes.
just a traditional,
Traditional way, organic way,
organic, no chemicals, permaculture,
permaculture.
and going, and when we do that, what we're seeing is the actual structure of the food is stronger and healthier.
True.
And how's that impact on the farmers financially?
What we did at
What's
the
the plan there?
beginning-
That's
yeah.
where we're up to. Have I got that right?
Yeah. So
All right.
Barn and Bang here, it's like a self-sustained agricultural accommodation where it provides not only accommodation but it provides a community to get involved with our guests.
Okay.
So what the main idea to invite people around the world to come here, and then we can educate them how to grow their own food while helping the locals
Yeah.
as well to harvest, to make their own fertilizer. The mindset is once you finish your holiday, you can take 3 things
Okay.
from here. First is you learn our own language, which is
Okay.
good. You can speak Indonesia or Balinese, and the second
Fantastic.
one, you get more skills, which is grow your own food, or maybe later on, if you go to the market, which one is fresh product, which one is not, and then the third
Wow.
one, you basically donate and supporting the community. So everything that you spend in here will go back to the local community,
Wow.
and the local can be more independent in a way. So this is like a semi-automatic project where we run by the farmers and their kids. So everything it's already inside of it. So what we want is once you come here, you feel living in the real Bali nature at its best.
Wow. The way that it's supposed to be, the way we want it to be. Lily,
Yes.
it's so beautiful. I'm so... I knew this was going to be cool, but that is just Just gorgeous. So people can come here, have a beautiful holiday, and we have a look at this place later, but it's just, I mean, it's beautiful. And we're surrounded by, there's chilies here and corn
organic
there and
chilies.
beans and all organic.
Long beans.
And learn some Bahasa,
There's some
right?
Bahasa
Some
or
language.
Balinese. Yeah.
Learn about permaculture and growing food and
Yes.
actually have their hands in the dirt and get to
Yes.
experience that and
Yeah.
do that. So they've got they can take that, you know, not just the knowledge, but the
Yeah, back
experience of
home.
that home. And then of course, you know, just in being here, that's making a contribution to the local
as
people
well.
and growing the entire I won't say the local economy, but this little ecosystem that you've built around sustainable farming, tourism, and like you say, really experiencing the Balinese culture, the farming culture at its best, though, it's so beautiful. I'm so excited. I mean, this is exactly what, you know, we moved to Bali 2.5 years ago,
Yeah.
and I had no idea. Right, I hadn't been here before, and I didn't know about the chemical farming and what had been going on. And I kind of had a fantasy that this is what it would be like. I said it will be all organic, it will be so beautiful, and we can learn the language, and we can, you know, plant a garden, and that's not what I found when I got here. I was really disappointed.
Same to me.
I went,
Same
this
to
is
me.
this is not okay, and I
Yeah.
didn't know what to do about it. So I planted a small garden, and I did, you know, what I can do.
Yeah.
And to hear what you're doing, it's like, well, this is fantastic, right? Because this could really make a big difference.
Yes.
So tell me about, with all that in mind, what do you see as the future for, you know, for this project, for what you're doing, but also for, you know, for farming in Bali and maybe even on a global scale,
Indonesia, yeah.
Indonesia and all over the place. What are we gonna? What do you see?
All right. Let me tell you about what's the future plan of this project in Balenbang.
Perfect.
We have many people like solo travelers that coming here to learn to educate themselves, to feel their soul, you know, because it's not only helping the locals but to help themselves as well, to eager to learn more and be part of the society. The main thing is to copy and to paste to another way, because we have people that coming
Okay.
from Fiji coming
Yep.
here, they end up staying for 2 weeks, and then we help them to know about this area, to speak with the local, to blend and feel the experience, live among the local. And then
Wow.
they get the idea, copy the idea, and they was asking me, Lily, is it possible for us to basically share to the world? I said, I'm more than happy to do it,
Wow.
because they now do it in Fiji, and we do have people as well that coming from Samarinda in Kalimantan, in Borneo. They do the same thing. So this guy is coming towards me and say, I would love to know more about organic farming in a way to make it
Wow.
more simple, because what I don't get it sometimes, you know, because there's so less organic products
Yeah.
in the market, it makes organic products become expensive.
Sure.
It should not become expensive if everyone's done it.
It
you
should
know?
be normal.
It should be normal.
Yeah.
So I said it starts with your own. The trend is should start from you.
Yeah.
When you can grow in your own backyard, you can grow in anywhere else.
Wow.
So what he did is he's helping these local farmers. At that time, we have a paddy rice coming up. So underneath this house, we put a fish pond. So when you harvest the paddy rice, you can harvest the fish. So you love it. He get that. It's called Mina Paddy, and he bring that idea and bring it to Samarinda to be developed, to be so the local people in there as well, they can have more income, sustainable, more independent.
Yeah.
Independent, and then you know, it's like support each other.
Wow.
So what I want is to be more real, you know,
Yeah.
rather than to say, oh yeah, I'm staying in a eco lodge or something, but are you actually doing a contribution to the local?
Yeah. Wow.
That's part of it. That's the main idea.
Beautiful. I really love this idea that, you know, whatever change we want to see in the world,
Yeah.
it starts with us.
Mm.
And if we can actually do some small steps, something,
Yes.
and be part of the solution more than part of the problem,
True.
that's that's the whole thing, right? That's the game.
Mm.
Wow. So what I'm hearing here is that really, you know, this isn't just a great idea, it's a model that people can take, come and
Yeah.
learn about and then duplicate.
Yep.
And this isn't like some secret that you're saying, I want to own this or do this. It's like, I
No,
want
no.
this to be the way we all
Yeah.
live.
Because let me tell you something, Balenbang is not owned by me. It's basically owned by the locals, which is the farmers, and will go back to themselves. Me in
Wow.
here as working as a bridge between the government, the society, and the tourism.
Okay.
So they can. It's called in Bali. It's called Trihita Karana, or living, balancing in between people, nature, and God.
Wow.
So I want to be like that. So I'm here actually is presenting the idea that's already been there so many years
Yeah.
in our society, but make it more real. We'll do it with acts. We do it now.
Mm.
Something like that. So encourage more people to coming in to learn, and then to spread the good words, the ideas, and giving more opportunities for people out there, farmers out there, to create their own land, to make it the Bali more greener, and preserve the land.
What do you call it? Trihatana.
Trihita Karana.
Tri.
Hita Karana. It's a Sanskrit.
Hita Karana.
Yeah. It's a Sanskrit. It's three. It's mean tiga. Three.
Yeah.
And then Hita Karana, it's a balancing between all of these things in the world, between the human, God, and the nature.
Yeah, beautiful. A beautiful
Like-
concept.
Complex ecosystem, what they say.
Absolutely. So this idea of an ecosystem, it's such a cool idea because we can kind of contrast ecology with economy, and we look at how the modern world's going. It's all about economy,
Yeah.
right? It's all about, is the economy growing, and what's my home, my finances,
Yeah.
what's the nation's economy, what's our global economy, and you look at the word economy, it's the management of scarce resources. So the
Okay.
whole thing of economy is like, we don't have enough, and for me to get more, then you have to miss out, and if you get more, then I miss out, and it's like this supply and demand, and that's kind of what drives our economy, because that's what the word means. Whereas if we look in nature, we don't see economy anywhere.
Yes,
We see
true.
abundance, and we see an ecology. An ecology is all the different organisms working together to create a thriving ecosystem.
Yes.
So, when you talk about, we're talking to the government, we're talking with the tourism,
Yeah.
we're talking with the local people, the farmers, the nature, with God.
Yeah.
How do we create this ecology where, everybody brings something unique and
Yes.
different and special, and we all work together to create an ecosystem that benefits for everybody, right? So how did you come to that? Because I think it's such a cool idea.
Right. It started when I'm traveling, because when you travel, you want to tend to live somewhere else where you feel like you being part of the local, rather than just seeing a touristy side. So experience what most people experience. You want to see something different.
Yeah.
It started and grew from there. And my grandparents are into working in the garden. So since I was a kid, they always make me play with the dirt.
Yeah.
Make yourself dirty. Make sure that you learn something new every day.
Wow. What a blessing.
Yeah, the main idea is to create, make people to come, and to create a balance. So at that time, I realized when I come back to Bali, I love this island, by the way. You can see beautiful beaches, really friendly people, and I want to create accommodation where people coming here to learn,
Yeah.
right, more about what's happening in Bali, because we are famous with our of the oldest temple in Bali. One of it is called Macheti Temple, and then we just next to the famous surfing spots in Bali, which is Karamas, and a couple of surfing spots hidden in there. And then this area is full of greeneries, and I don't want the next couple of years will be gone,
Yeah.
because what you
Resorts
see,
and
yes,
hotels.
resort and hotel is been dominated by resort and hotel, and all these farmers understand is if they want to have food or better life, all they need to do is just to sell their land. Once they sell their land, they don't have any heritage for their kids, and nothing, it will be gone. And then sadly thing is, the youngest farmer in this area, especially the youngest one, is only around 45
Wow.
years old. So it's actually at the beginning it's hard for me to change their mindset about from chemical
Yeah, sure.
mechanism into organic. It's really hard. So I come with a different approach. Go to their house, speak with their families,
Wow.
be part of them. Once they agree, we can start and giving example. Like my friends help me to rent the land, so we can give example like this is should be doing. This is what you should do, right? Because as you see, our farmers is coming from really lack education background. people like this doesn't understand if you only talk to them. It's like you selling promises.
Yeah, sure. Doesn't make sense.
You never know what happened next day.
Yeah.
But what we want is we give them proof. We give them way and
You show
system.
them.
Yeah.
This is
show them.
working. This is
This is actually working.
Yeah,
So
this is
at that
real.
time, we inviting 10 international school around Bali, and some of them like Canggu School, they coming here, and their kids basically learn how to do it, and then there's an idea basically coming out from their parents and say, Lily, why don't you build like a accommodation that's really eco-friendly? That's why at first time is the hostel is coming in, and then after that some people would say, oh Lily, why don't you build something that's more private? But I was thinking again, I don't want to do something that rapidly, like villas next to each other.
sure.
So my idea is to keep the land preserved. How to do that? So I make sure when I sit down with the farmers, I say, okay, what we're gonna do next? Probably we're gonna build a bungalow that every 1,000 meters square only have one bungalow. So the farmers can still work in their fields,
Yeah,
right?
perfect.
Plus they get income from people that's staying in this wooden house,
Beautiful.
where everything it should be made from recycle.
Okay. Now
So-
tell me more about that.
Yeah. So and at the beginning, I make this pilot project with these villas,
Yes.
and then after not even a month, this is already full book until at the end of the year.
Wow.
And then I have to say, I have to like tell people when I put it in platform, online platform, and say, I'm sorry, I have to say no because it's already full book, because people want to experience living in the middle of the rice field,
Yeah, of
people want to
course.
experience living in the real Bali green fields. So, and then I came up after 6 months. I was encouraging the farmers to be our own investor rather than the investor itself. I said, okay, let's save some money and then build another one. So it's like a mushroom, it's self-contained. It will help the farmers to grow.
It's like a mushroom.
Like or why should I say the house is like a mushroom, it's like
Yeah.
coming up one by one by one.
Okay.
It's like we don't want to be like capitalism, just like put like 5 villas in it.
Yeah, sure.
Everything is self-contained, and we do want to have that, but in more traditional way. So we make semi-modern and traditional kind of bungalows. Like I said to you, everything in here it's made from recycle.
Well, I see. I mean, this is the twisted banana
Yes,
leaf, right?
true.
I mean, even this beautiful.
True. This one
place we're
twisted
sitting
banana.
on.
But you can see we are surrounded by banana trees in
Perfect.
here around, and even we use I go to the like a old hotel or the one that doesn't want their furniture anymore. So we cover our beds and our like share with bananas skin, and then we make
Banana
sure
leaf.
banana leaf, but we dry it first and then we twist
It's
it.
so strong.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing.
And it's like rattan, but rattan is so expensive. So I told the farmers, why don't we make something different?
Yeah.
So when people coming in, they realize, oh, okay, it's totally different.
This is really
Yes.
done.
And then if you see later on, we have a couple of things like in our beach, we usually have high tides, and sometimes when the high tide's gone, it creates a massive pile of junk.
Yep. I've seen
So
that.
rather than to complain and thinking, it's another
All this
junk,
rubbish on my beach. Yep.
we basically take the rubbish out. Most of it is cans so from the food. So we take it out, we cut it into pieces and make it like like ornaments. So we have headbeds made from a can ornaments, and then just to paint it, and then even I contacting the artist from Tegalalang, from Ubud, to help me as well to give an idea about this place. So it's not all about only in Desa Medahan village or this community, but it's connecting to other community as well around Bali. So
Wow.
like one example, when we do have our organic cafe and free range, and everything is grown locally, and then have locally, because we do want to support the local brand and local food,
Yeah, of
local
course.
people, because the main idea is not only about the farmer community, but how this farmer community can become big by connecting with one of local brand.
Yeah, sure.
or local produce. So it's helping to another. It's like symbiosis mutualism. Help
Beautiful.
one another.
Yeah,
you
beautiful.
know?
So we're getting to the situation where this farmer, instead of having to just sell the land, sell his future,
Yes.
sell his heritage, to educate his children and buy a Harley Davidson and do what he
Yeah,
wants to do.
yeah.
It's like, actually, no, I can create something really, really valuable on my land. We can cleanse the land, we can purify it and restore the soil and bring life back to it. And not only, be an example of farming for the future, but also, have this beautiful accommodation, make good income, and preserve our culture and our heritage for
Exactly.
future generations in a way that is actually going to work in the modern world. Oh, wow, you're doing that, right?
So not all the credits not only come to me, it's with my team as well, you know,
course.
because without the farmers, without the local people here that really nice enough to give their ideas, to do the daytime, this project won't happen.
So tell me, something you mentioned earlier which kind of surprised me was that the youngest farmer in the area is 45 years old.
Yes.
Now, 45, he has children.
Yes.
And if he's the youngest, then everybody else is older, so they've had children.
Yes.
Where are all the young men and women? What
So-
are they doing? What's happening?
Let me tell you what happened with the young men and women in Bali.
Yeah.
Because of the mass tourism, most likely they would like to work in a big city,
Sure.
part of the tourism industry. First one is easier. To be a farmer is tough job.
Yeah, sure.
You work in the heat, wake up early morning, make sure everything is all right, sleeping later, make sure all the water resources coming in full for your garden and or your patch of land. It's a hard work.
It's not all so glamorous,
It's
right?
not glamorous. In the culture, sadly, if you see someone's having a dark skin color like me, they might thinking, oh, you're coming from a working class family.
Right.
But I try to encourage this kid. That is not embarrassment. You should not be shy of what your parents have. That is acknowledgement. Acknowledge them to be part of them. That's why in here, these farmer kids, what we do is we inviting them and they can work to be part of the hospitality industry where, rather than go to the big city, they can always work in here and share their stories with our guests. And even the guests can educate them with English, and sometimes they play with them with another play from a game from another country and play chess, introduce them with new books and
Wow.
talk about the experience. So it will give them idea as well. One day, if they have enough income, they should travel as well.
Yeah,
It's not Western thing to travel, because
Sure.
most of Indonesian, they don't understand what you want to do travel. But these days, more and more young generation realize that and thinking, we should feed ourselves with more knowledge that's not coming from school, but coming from the society, coming from your experience.
Come from experience.
Yeah. So
And
that's
of
why I'm
course,
trying to.
everybody's got a smartphone now.
Yes,
Everybody's
easy.
online, so
Yeah.
easy to see.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a big world out there. There's lots of things happening.
Exactly.
Maybe we want to go and see some of that.
True.
Yeah.
True. So I keep encourage these kids to have their dream.
Yeah.
Rather than to come here only for work, what we did is they work half day in our place, and then later on they go back to school. So
Okay.
after sometimes after 6 months we usually have a rolling. So every kids in the village have the opportunity to work in our place to experience what their senior have,
Wow.
and the senior of course sharing their ideas as well, how to make this place more improved.
Wow.
It's like continuously, you
Yeah.
know. So I just giving a little bit of my ideas and they will develop it. It's called like diversification, and they will improve themselves. Not only copy paste, but copy, create better things, and then paste it more to the world.
Building the model.
Yeah, building the model.
Duplication.
Yeah.
And duplication of something that's really beautiful and worth duplicating, not just a profit center or a business that is viable. That's actually necessary and important for not just for the local farmers here, but for humanity to have this model, this proven concept that organic farming, permaculture, we can actually live on the land and thrive. Wow, right, beautiful. So tell me, in creating all of this, because we know in life when you have an idea and you go, I'm going to do that,
Mm.
it's not always so smooth and so easy.
True.
Sometimes there's
True.
some challenges, some obstacles.
True.
What have you had to face and overcome and deal with to be able to get to this point?
There's lots of obstacles, right? Sometimes I do stumbling in the way. Like say when I talk with the farmers at the beginning, because I'm a girl,
Mhm.
obviously. Maybe in the culture itself, because I'm Javanese.
Okay.
You know, they might thinking like, you're not Balinese, so you know, what's the motive behind of your ideas here?
Can they tell straight away?
Yeah, they probably, because the thing is
Well, they
like,
can tell you're a woman, but
Yeah.
they can tell you're not from Bali, tell you're from Java?
oh no, but they soon enough know my accent,
Okay.
because I don't speak Balinese accent.
Yep.
But what they did is they always they be really aware. They're so afraid because I don't know what's happening in their past history before. Maybe there's investor that promise them they're gonna help them do these kind of things, and it's never happened. So when I have this idea coming up, they were like, no, maybe this is a bad idea. Until I think there's a person that can help me to make them understand, which is a higher level in the government. So what I did
Okay.
is I approached the mayor itself, a mayor of Gianyar, and I talked to them, discuss, and give an audience for like an hour and explains my idea. And at the beginning it's hard as well because he thinks like, what is this? Is this kind of a joke or what? But after I explained and I said, it takes time, but we will go in there and giving a good value from his point of view, because he's coming from a agricultural subject from his uni as well. So
Okay.
he more understand
Okay.
what we're talking about.
Right.
So he said that's actually a good idea. So he give opportunity for me and help me to talk with this local and to change their mindset.
Okay.
And then until now, next door with 2 hours, we have a support and donation from the government. They are actually making the first museum for agriculture in Bali.
Wow.
It will be upcoming, I think, early of this year, because
Wow.
it's already built, but they're just waiting until
And was
it's
that
finished.
as a result of your conversation with the mayor, or was that
So
what was your part in that?
I'm not part of the museum, obviously.
That
I'm
was just that was
yeah.
happening anyway.
It's never happening until I give the idea
Okay.
to make this agricultural accommodation happening.
Okay.
And then when I come back to him and explain, I have to give him a report, of course, because it's part of my thankfulness and between the locals and me and to the mayor. And then he was thinking an idea how to make more and more people to come here and educate them, not only staying in our place, but to know more about the traditional, the olden days of Bali, where you can provide data, pictures, like puppets, how to
Yeah,
show
puppet
them.
shows,
Yeah,
yeah.
puppet show. So he was getting an idea and thinking, okay, let's
That's
make
a
a
good
museum.
idea.
Let's make a museum. And I said,
Wow.
brilliant, sir.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic.
So Gianyar, that's the regency that we're in here.
Yes.
And there's the city just up, a few kilometers up is
Yeah.
Gianyar City.
Yes.
And so the mayor of Gianyar City.
Yes.
So you're approaching the farmers, and these are like old guys, been working on the land, and
Yeah.
they know, and they're not going to be told by some young, beautiful Javanese woman how to run their farm, right? That's fair enough, right? They've been doing it a long time, and
Yeah.
their parents showed them, and there's been a lot of, I won't make an assumption there, but you tell me, how did this transition from, it was all organic, there was no chemical farming, and now it's, chemical farming is the predominant, it's the prevalent thing that's happening. How did that transition happen?
Okay, let me explain about the transition happening between olden days where it's organic and become non-organic, and now become organic again.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, when I heard the stories from the farmers, at the beginning, they're not sure when it's starting, maybe starting in the 60s and 70s, when first time the chemical coming in. They say, they assume that it will help the farmers to work easier,
Okay.
because the thing is, for organic farming, it's the man hours that is
Yeah.
tiring, because
Sure.
you have to make sure everything is right. If you have some little things like, let's say your plant is sick, you have to be aware about that and pick it up, make sure that it's not affecting others. So you have to be aware. That's tiring.
Sure, big job.
Yeah, big job for us farmers, especially they're getting old. So at that time, they think it's helping them make it easier.
Sure.
So when you put the chemical in, it will kill all the bacteria,
Mm-hmm.
kill all the living things that's.
All the
in-
bugs
yeah.
and fungus and
But not all the
Pests.
bugs and all the bacteria in the land. It's bad.
of course.
We do need some bacteria like nitrate bacteria from nitrates. So they kill almost everything.
Oh,
But it's make their life easier.
yeah,
All
sure.
they need
Short
to
term.
do, just wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, put the chemicals in, and then go back to sleep. Because it will go.
Life's good.
Yeah.
Right.
And then at the afternoon, they just checking everything is okay, even to avoid little birds that like to eat their seeds, the
Yeah.
grain seeds, because obviously the animals, they understand if it's chemical, they won't eat it. They can taste it. It's like
Wow.
giving a pesticide to you. You
Yeah, well, no,
you
thank
obviously know, but human doesn't know that until it will mutate it in the strain of the plants. And then when you cook it, when you eat part of their pesticides. They will trigger cancer, tumor, any other living things inside your body already accumulate so long. It will create disease.
Wow. So the farmers sounds like a good deal. It's easy for me. I don't have to work so hard.
Yeah.
The chemical can do the work. And it was around that time, 60s and 70s, when the big pharmaceutical or chemical
Yeah, coming
companies
in.
were coming in and they're advertising or they're promoting or
They're
they're
advertising, especially in the half price. It's
Wow.
easy life. It's cheap. Not wasting your time.
Yep.
And especially, I understand Balinese have a certain event going on, so they always be busy around the temple.
Of
they
course,
make offerings.
ceremonies.
It's helping them as well, to have more times to have ceremonies rather than
Beautiful.
just only to be in the field.
Wow.
It's a tough job, tough life.
So aside from, we're losing, the strain of the food is losing its quality. When we're eating that's having a negative effect on our health. What other impacts do you see as a result of that whole movement?
Can you repeat it again?
Yeah, sure. So we've gone from organic farming to chemical farming.
Yes.
And what other side effects has that produced? Obviously there's the health effects
Yes.
for people that are eating the food. There's the health effects for the food.
Mm-hmm.
Is there effects on the soil, on the culture, on the community?
Oh, yes.
What other effects have we noticed as a result of that?
It's huge effects. First thing, all the nutrition in the land that's been produced so many years naturally, it's gone. It's decreasing by time, and
Wow.
it's really hard to get it back again. So at the beginning, I'm not saying like I put 100% organic way and the product will come organically. No, because there's lots of residues that's already been there for years.
Yeah.
So probably after 6 until 8 times of harvest, then probably it will reduce a little bit, because
Wow.
what I see here after I take some samples from the land and then send it to the lab, you can still see there's some residue still left.
Wow.
And then even you have to control the water. You can't control the rain. Rain will
course.
bring more pollutant,
Yep.
right? Or what we can do is to eliminate those X factors. Let's say we create our own grey water system
Yes.
to filterize all the water and feed them and water the plants. And also, after a 3 or 4 time harvest, what we did is we change the area not into a paddy rice field anymore, because all the nutrition has already been taken by the plants. So we change into organic garden. We put like long beans, organic chilies, or any of vegetables that can provide a nitrification system inside of the soil to
Yep.
give the nutrition back to the soil.
Yep. So crop rotations,
Yes,
doing
crop
different
rotation,
things.
yes.
And there's do you do a season where you just let anything grow and don't demand anything
Yes,
of the
don't
land
limit- yes.
and let it die and then churn it
And
back
then,
in?
yeah.
Yeah. My friend Chef Made of Moxa up in Ubud,
Ah.
he's got a beautiful permaculture garden beside his
Nice.
restaurant, and it's so lovely. And he had the same problem because the water's coming in from upstream.
Yeah.
Could be full of anything, right?
Yes.
So they've got this really cool system, maybe helpful for you as well. I'm not sure what you've got in place, but I'd love to hear. but he's got a series of ponds with lots of pumice stone from the beach
Yes.
and charcoal, big chunks of coal, and also with reeds, lots of
Yes.
water reeds growing
Yes,
around.
to
And they said
filter us
that
then.
will filter out, and then
Yes.
it goes from this one and then across the stream into
And
the
then
next
another
pond,
one.
the next pond,
Yeah.
the next pond, and then onto the land, so that he knows the water, you know, all the toxicity's been
Yeah, it
taken
will be
out,
taken out,
by
true.
the stones.
Yeah,
and
it's the same.
filtered.
It's the same like a grey water system. It's called a system is called aquaphonic as well,
Okay.
where you can have fish in it
Uh-huh.
to help to be part of the ecosystem to reduce the chemical.
Wow.
But it's like you said, it's need a certain pool, a pond, one to another to fertilize until it's at least reducing most of the
Yeah,
bad
sure.
chemical, and then feeding them again
Yeah.
to the land. You know.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
so exciting that we can do that, right?
Yeah.
So cool. And composting and, you know, all the
Composting,
different
yes.
things to rejuvenate and regenerate the
Yeah,
life in
yeah.
the soil,
Yeah.
so that it's the way it's meant to be, in the jungle, in the rainforest, in the, you know, with the most thriving ecosystems and ecology, the most life dense places on earth. There's no chemicals there.
True.
It's thriving, it's abundant, and it's
natural. Yeah.
wow. So that's really exciting. And do you see a time when, you know, can we turn the tide? Because this is really, you're just starting to go, well, this is a really cool concept. And there's a whole bunch of people around Bali that I'm connecting with now who are doing really, really cool things. And I go, this is amazing. This is happening, right? So do you see a time when, well, and what's the status now? Are we at, you know, between who's doing organic farming and who's doing chemical farming? Is chemical farming still the majority?
I think chemical farming so far in Indonesia, I must say, it's still the big majority because
Yep.
first it's the mass organic. It's easier for them rather than to thinking about the future and how people eat later on. You know,
Yeah.
they don't think about that. They just think they make as much as production to sell more and to get more money.
This season.
Yes.
And if next season it's more difficult,
Yeah.
well then I'll deal with that
yes,
next season.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's
So
what
short
happened.
term seems like good,
But
but
it doesn't mean that it can't change.
okay.
Because I believe in change.
All right.
Because
Tell me about that. What do you
yeah,
see?
because many people in Bali are having the same thoughts like me. You know, those youngsters are more now health conscious,
Yep.
and we are new generations that wants to change everything. Because what I see in young people, young folks these days, they always think they're different, and they think they're different and they will be weird. I say that's fine. You're okay to be different because you make a difference,
Yes.
right? And so by doing that, you know, I usually go to a open co-working space
Mhm.
and talk with youngsters, you know, and have their ideas, and then invite them to hear and explain what we're doing, and then they will spread the good words and inviting, because most of our guests in here, they're coming from referrals as well, big referrals, so they know from word of mouth.
Okay.
Rather
Oh,
than-
referrals.
yes,
Sorry, yeah,
referrals.
I got you.
So they know more from word of mouth.
Yes.
I know internet is a big thing, but you know, people wants to experience from the testimonial, you know,
Sure.
from people, real feedback
Yep.
rather than only
I did this. It was great.
Yes.
You should do it.
Yeah.
And that's how we connect.
rather than I just put a commercial, you know, we're doing this, we do that. But at the end of the day, people want to hear feedback from each other. That's how human connect, I think. So by making those change, I believe we can create better. Change not always drive you into a bad things. Change can be a good thing, because
Sure.
without doing anything, you realize Earth is like rotating. It will make change.
Yeah.
So people should realize that we should drive ourselves to a good of change,
Yeah.
rather than to bad. Or not always think about negativity. What makes, you know, change is bad. Rather than that, try to think a positive way.
Sure.
You know, try to bend it a little bit and thinking about, okay, if I make that, change the questions to be a better questions, so people can get a better answer.
Wow. I mean, change, talk about change. It's inevitable, right? Change, we can't stop change.
Exactly.
It's changing all the time.
It's changing
and
all the
seasons
time.
and cycles, and
It's always be different.
it's kind of the only thing that we can really count on,
True.
is that things will change.
True.
So I guess, you know, our part in all of this is, what change are we part of? Are we part of progress?
Yes.
Change for the better?
Yeah.
Making it more good? Or
Yeah.
is it the opposite,
Yeah.
right? The alternative.
True.
And the change is going to happen anyway. And what I hear that you're really committed to is positive change, is progress, is improving, is beneficial, is making, you know, the local economy better, the local ecology better. And then how do we take that model and bring that out?
And bring that out. Exactly.
So, do you reckon we're going to make it? I mean, we've still got this massive,
True. Homework.
you know,
Massive
are we going
homework.
to, have you got a timeline on that? Have you got a vision for that? Have you got a hope for that?
I do have hope,
Or are
big
we-
hope
are we-
for that.
Not going to make it.
Well, as a human being, we can't, you know, because there's a reason why I wake up every day in the morning, because I believe we will create something, right? You know, until you don't breathe again in this world, they will stop. But it doesn't mean your knowledge will stop. That's why every day when I wake up in the morning, I always think I need to learn something new today at least,
Wow.
or I need to deliver something new to others so they can create that, so they can improve with that.
Wow.
They become better person with that. So it's like a good karma. You know, you spread one thing and then it will spread three things to another. You know, always believe that there's a reason why you wake up early in the morning. There's a reason why every day you're still breathing.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, from my point of view.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
I feel that beautifully. And I can feel that coming from him in this love for learning, this fascination for life and the wonder and awe and the beauty that's all around us. And then also not just, you know, many people learning a lot, which is great, and then other people wanting to, you know, just tell everybody else what they should be doing, and that's interesting too.
Yeah.
And what I get from you is this beautiful, you know, wanting to learn and grow and become more so that you can contribute and serve and make a great. It's so beautiful, Lily.
Thank you very much for
And you know,
the time as well.
well, it's lovely to
Patrick.
be able to connect, and I just, you know, I'm really excited to watch the future of this and watch this spread and grow and expand, you know, across Bali, across Indonesia, and around the world. This is, you know, this is exactly what the world needs right now. This is the biggest, you know, from my perspective, one of the biggest challenges that humanity's facing. And this here is a real viable solution that can absolutely work for you know, for people anywhere. It's not for
True.
just for Balinese or Indonesians.
Exactly.
But if we're in Australia or the US or Europe
Anywhere
or
in the-
Africa,
anywhere in the world.
this model, you know, it totally works, and it's not difficult, right? It's not rocket surgery, right? It's like
Not
we
rocket
just
science.
need not rocket science,
True.
brain surgery. It's like, let's make a commitment to actually
Yes.
doing what I can do right now, and maybe that's what. Well, you tell me what for anybody who's, you know, maybe a farmer, or maybe just living in the city, living in the suburbs, you know, working in the city. What's the, you know, maybe number one thing or maybe a couple of things that anybody can do to really help us to, you know, be making progress, to be moving in the right direction? What do you see as the simple steps?
The simple steps first is always related to yourself to garbage, because
Garbage?
yeah, so
All
the
right.
thing like
We haven't
this.
even touched on that, which is a
Yeah.
huge issue.
Because what I see now, especially in Indonesia, we are rather people realize it or not, we are suffering from garbage, because many people out there consume everything every day without they realize, like cups or straws, only one time, and then they throw it away. Let's say if you have an extra pair of suits in here made from a bag, and then everything that you consume in one day, you put it in there for a week, this is will full of garbage.
Yeah.
So people should realize, first thing, what in my mind, have to consume less plastic or less garbage, like cups or anything that makes from plastic that you can't
Specifically
recycle.
plastic, yeah.
You can't recycle, because these things, even in our backyard here, when I first time I coming here, too much little things that I don't know coming from where, just little plastics. And then when I asked the farmers, and you're right, people that have the waters down the streams, they bring all this garbage from everywhere in
Yep.
the world. It's actually affecting not only the mother nature, it will affect human being. So realize about that, always relate to yourself rather than you thinking about, oh, I'm gonna throw this today. But you think, can I change this substance? Can I change this object into something else or recycle it to something that you can use in the future?
Or do I need to even take it in the first place?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, something like that. And then drive yourself every day to create something new. Not like big things. Like try to say simple things. Let's say many people, especially from my point of view, always forgot about two magic words: please and thank you.
Oh, wow.
That's a simple things. But if you start to say, okay, say please and thank you more often,
Uh-huh.
you can get more, respect. People more hearing you, and rather than you tell people what to do and you're doing your own way.
Wow.
It's just perspective, the mind's ways, how you can change. And
This is good manners, right?
yes, and then to be a best possible version of yourself.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So the first thing, use less plastic.
Less plastic.
Right. That's
Definitely.
absolutely, and that's huge.
Bye bye plastic.
So tell me, and then it's like, have good manners.
Yeah.
And then grow and learn and
Yes.
really express the
Yeah.
best that's in you.
People can copy you as well and thinking,
Beautiful.
meet Patrick, a lovely guy.
Wow.
And then I should be, be nice like him as well. How can I copy that? It's just little simple things that people will catch up from you.
So what do you reckon? I mean, on the plastic, use myself as an example. I'm just one guy. So if I use one plastic straw in a day, or one plastic bag, or maybe two for some shopping, put some, buy some things and put it in a plastic bag, and maybe a plastic cup, or maybe, that's not much. I mean, we've got huge mountains of garbage.
Yes.
It's just one plastic straw, maybe 5 straws in a week. I mean, that's not a big deal, right?
Okay, so let me tell you again about using not to consume plastic every day. You're telling me that you're one person, they only use a couple simple of plastic. But you see, people like you are not only you. There's 8 billion people out there. They might be thinking, hey, it's only like 5 pieces of straw. But
Yeah.
5 pieces multiplied by 8 billion. How much is that?
That's a
That's
lot of
you
plastic.
can make an entire new island made of plastic bag.
Wow.
So, and
Wow.
that's actually affecting the everything, the ecosystem in the world, the sea, the mountain, the land,
Yeah.
streams, everything will affected by human eyes when they consume too much plastic. So be aware. That's what I can say. I'm not like a prophet and try to bragging myself into this kind of thing, but try to realize little simple things. Change a little bit the way you look at things, rather than to say, okay, I've recycled things, but you're still doing it. There's no way, but act with it. Change yourself, act with it.
I hear you. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Patrick.
It's like they say, to know and not yet to do.
Yep.
It's not yet to know, right? Or like a friend Gandhi said, just be the change.
Be the change.
Be the change you want to
exactly.
see in the world. And I think that probably sums this up so beautifully, because I see you such a shining example of being the change. And are we perfect? Of course not. But are we doing what we can do and
Yep.
making a difference and
Yep.
doing the best that we can see, and sharing that was so beautiful. So tell me one more thing before we wrap up.
Yep.
And I've been so enjoyed this time together. I'm so grateful
too.
and really appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to share that I haven't asked about, that we haven't covered? Anything else that that's important, that as a message?
That's a good question, actually.
Throw it right open for you now. Right, whatever you like.
Well, okay, let me tell you one message that I can simplify to tell to the world, especially for girls out there. Do not be afraid of who you are, and try to make a change. Even though some people we are living in a man's world here. Many people think like, oh, you can't do it because you're not strong enough, or oh, you can't do it because you're not clever enough. But I believe now anyone can make a change, especially girls out there. Don't be afraid to learn more, to experience new things, to eager to learn and to read more, because it's actually good for you. One, like my grandma always say, yeah, you feed education to a boy, and then you help the family to become better.
Okay.
But if you give the education to a girl, you can feed the whole nation.
Wow.
So it's more likely, don't be afraid, because this is what happened when I was a kid, you know. Everyone always say it's surrounded in my area, always say like, oh, you can't do that because, you know, you can't get that idea. Why? Because that makes sense. It's coming from a girl mouth. But believe that it will create a change one day. Believe to yourself, drive yourself, and then consistent, persistent. Make yourself to be heard, but in a positive way, obviously. And stick to your main plan. As long as it's do good, it will create good.
Wow.
So be good.
Wow. Lily, thank you so much.
You're
I'm so grateful.
welcome,
I've so
Patrick.
enjoyed our time together.
Me too. Thank
Amazing.
you very much for the opportunity to get interviewed by you.
So if anybody wanted to get in touch with you, if they've got interest in more information about Barn and Bunk
Yeah.
or about any of the things you've talked about, what's
Yeah.
the best way for someone to do that?
We do have a Facebook fan page.
Yep.
It's Facebook in Barn and Bunk, or we are in Twitter, or easiest way to go to Google and type Barn and Bunk Bali, and then we coming
Awesome.
up for different kind of platform. So we're gonna try to respond to your message within 24 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. And people can come and stay here.
Of course,
Can
people
booking.
can start booking.
Where's the best place to book?
It's in Airbnb.
Yep.
We have different type of rooms. First is a dormitory, which is share, coming from 4 and 5, their own single beds, self-contained with a private curtain and wardrobe, and then a private room, and then bungalows. So you have
Nice.
different kind of options to stay and experience different kind of room, because every room comes with their own theme.
Nice.
So you
We'll have a look at that too.
Yeah.
We'll do a little
All
tour.
right.
So that will be
Okay.
really cool.